So, hey, Zach, thanks for being here.
Yeah.
I got a few questions for you for the youth group. Describe your experience coming into the youth group, because you were somebody, your family came in from the church. You're from a different school than most of the people
Right.
in the youth group. Didn't know anybody. Talk a little bit about kind of your experience coming into the youth group. What was it like? How did you feel? Did you connect? Just talk a little bit about that whole process.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm from Martinsville, and so that kind of puts me out anyway. I know that there's some kids that are from Martinsville, but they're kind of a lot fewer far between than your normal crowd here. But I was already part of a youth group at my old church that we left, and so I was there my whole life, and I knew the process of getting into a youth group, or at least being in one. You make friends, you're there, and things established the longer you stay. And so I knew eventually if I stayed long enough, I'd be in. And it was just coming into the group. It was kind of overwhelming because the youth group itself was probably bigger than half the population of my old church. And so there were just kids everywhere, and so I was just overwhelmed. And I'm pretty sociable, but I was kind of shy because I had no idea who anybody was. Normally you have some sort of friend there, but I didn't know anybody. And for about, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 months, I just came in, sat down. I didn't talk to anybody. Nobody talked to me. And I just came, sat down, and when you were done talking, I left. And that's about how it went for quite a while.
I'm sorry that was your experience. From my perspective, I had, from the outside looking in from the front, had no idea that you were feeling that way.
Right.
And my guess is that probably a lot of other people didn't either.
Oh, no.
But I guess maybe talk a little bit about what was it like, or what did it finally take to make a break into the group, to kind of feel like you were in? How did that happen, and who was a part of that?
Right. And, first off, you were very friendly toward me. And so I had you and Jason, who's my small group leader. He'd say hey to me, but there was no real in-depth talking to or attention or anything like that. But I didn't feel like I was part of the group until CDYC of that year. I knew that if I went to CDYC, that those days of being with people, and I knew that would be a time where I could really show who I am and make friends and that kind of thing. But Shane Lowry and Taylor Wright invited me to be in their 3-on-3 basketball team before we went. And so they were the first ones to really step out and give me, show me that I was worth investing time into and ask me questions, and just show me some interest.
So CDYC was the thing where you're like, okay, I'm in. I'm a part of this group.
Right. Before CDYC, I was just the guy that comes and sits down, nobody talks to. But after CDYC, I became, an integral part of the group.
And it was, you said, like, what, 3 or 4 months, probably, at least?
At least, maybe even 5.
Okay. So you've had this experience. You've been the new guy, and you've been in a place where you know what it's like. You know how that feels to be the new guy and to feel kind of out there, kind of alone, the stranger in the midst kind of deal.
Yeah.
How does that impact what you do now in terms of you see a new person? Does it change what you do or what your thought process is toward that whole situation?
Yeah, I have a new perspective on the whole process of that. Because before in my old youth group, when new people came in, it didn't matter to me because they weren't my friends. Somebody else would befriend them, and I didn't really think that was my responsibility. And I just looked at it as a responsibility, and I didn't care. And so now that I have this perspective on it, being able to see, just how much the little things and even some big things, but just showing some interest in a person can really impact whether they stay or whether they're gone.
Good. Keep in mind that the people that this video is for are not the people. The youth group we're 3 years down the road. There's a lot of water that's gone under the bridge.
Yep.
But you're talking to people that are part of the youth group that you graduated from. And we still have situations like you where people walk in and maybe they don't know anybody. So talk to us a little bit from all that you've been through. Give us some advice or give us some encouragement or just practical things that we might do to just to make sure that nobody else has the kind of experience you had, basically, in coming into our group.
Right. Well, first thing I would say, don't be afraid to invest any sort of time or effort because it's not in vain. Stepping out and talking to somebody will never be a bad thing. It can mean the world. People can come in and they can leave just as quickly as they came in. And so just, learn their names. I would say that's huge. If you know somebody's name, you have a lot of power, and it affects people. If you can remember their name, just that, make eye contact with them, show them that, you acknowledge them, and it's not just, another person that comes and sits down, invite them to sit next to you. You don't have to go completely out of your way because, you don't want to make it look like, the whole group is just swarming this person. Mm-hmm. But at the same point in time, don't just assume everyone else is going to do it for you. Mm-hmm. I would say, just show the people that come in that they're important, that they're worth something, and that, it doesn't take much to do that. Mm-hmm. Just smile at them, give them the eye contact, learn their names, give them your name, and, just every time you see them, just be friendly, smile at them. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to be close friends, but just make friends.
Yeah. Now, and this is kind of the end of things, but kind of just as a follow-up, we've not really talked a whole lot about what this lesson is about. We've talked a little bit, but I'm not feeding you all of this advice.
Oh, no.
Okay, so it's going to be really interesting when we get to the rest of the lesson because you've pretty much read the rest of the lesson. So great, which is kind of cool that we're on the same page, and we want to be on the same page, and I think that points to maybe some things that God wants us to grow in. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of freaky what you're saying here.
This is authentic.
You can't make this stuff up. So all right, Zach, thanks.
Oh, no problem,
for your
Nate.
time. All right, appreciate it. Very good.
There we go.
That was awesome. I really appreciate it.